Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Alicia, and today we are going to be diving into the If Love series by Ana Huang. So the If Love series, we have 4 different books, 3 different couples, and a lot of drama, romance, and emotional roller coasters. I read the entire series in 2 days because I went back and forth between the physical copy of the book, which I have all of them, and I also listened to the audiobooks on Spotify. I knew that I couldn't listen completely to all of them on Spotify or I would run out of Spotify hours. So I kind of just went back and forth between reading, and then if I was gonna make my lunch or make my dinner or whatever, I would listen to the audiobook instead, which helped me get through them really quickly. I literally got through them in 2 days, I was surprised that I was able to accomplish that. But I wanted to read these, one, because I love the Twisted series, and so I really love her as an author, and I was really excited to read this series, and also they've been on my TBR for a while, and also I wanted to give you guys the rundown on this series and let you know, 1, my thoughts about it, and 2, how it compares to the Twisted series in my opinion, and also just let you know if you'll like it or not based on other things you might like in romance books. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. And there will be absolutely no spoilers. Just want to say that right off the bat. And also don't forget to like and subscribe if you do enjoy bookish content. I am posting a new bookish video of some sort every single Thursday, every week. Reading vlogs, reviews, book reviews possibly, like this one, and TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, all that kind of stuff. So for those who don't know, the If Love series is an interconnected contemporary romance series. The first 2 books follow one couple, and then these 2 books follow 2 different couples. And these 2 books we're following Farah and Blake, and then in this one, If Love Had a Price, we're following Chris and Nate, and then in the last one, we are following Olivia and Sammy. And I will say that all of these are full of drama, some great banter, and obviously some Ana Huang spice. So without further ado, let's dive into each book individually, and then I'll give kind of my overview of the entire series at the end. So If We Ever Meet Again is the first book in the series, and it was so mid for me. I am a big fan of the Twisted series, so I will say right off the bat, reading this first book, I was kind of disappointed and not excited to continue reading. This one is a romance set in college, and while I liked the international setting, it was really fun. They drank a lot of bubble tea. They were in Shanghai, and they drank a lot of bubble tea, which was just fun and cute because I do love bubble tea, and I do have a boba bubble tea place nearby that I frequent. I would say I frequent. So it was kind of fun to just have that in a book. I would say the setting, honestly, was probably the best part of this book for me, because the romance with this specific couple of Farah and Blake, they didn't do it for me. It felt very flat. It felt very insta-lovey. I will say that. Like, they kind of, to me, it didn't take much for them to just fall for each other. And I like a book where it's a slow burn in the fact that they're kind of enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers is my thing. I love enemies to lovers. This one felt more like just insta-lovey. I don't even know, because it wasn't friends to lovers really either. It was just they instantly kind of met, liked each other, and fell in love, I would say. There were some parts where, you know, maybe they thought different things about each other that didn't turn out to be true, but it wasn't enemies. So if enemies to lovers is your thing, I'm not sure if you'll like the first book. So overall, for this first one, there were moments that I did enjoy, but overall the pacing was really slow for me, and I just did not feel the romance. It didn't make me feel anything really. Honestly, I was just trying to get through this first one. The first one was the hardest one for me to get through, I will say that. So this, though, I would almost say is more of a setup book. I did end up rating this one 3 stars. So when I'm rating a book, 5 stars is like, it gives me that 5-star feeling. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just know when it's a 5 stars. Like, it's a book that I will think about for probably the rest of my life. 4 stars is that it's a really good book, and I did really like it and I enjoyed it. It just didn't give me the 5-star feeling. 3 stars, in my opinion, is a book where I know it's a good book. It's just not my thing. It didn't really resonate with me specifically, or if I just felt like it was fine. I didn't want a DNF. I didn't hate it, but it was just fine. And then like a 2 and a 1 star are, 1 stars are don't recommend. 2 stars I also don't recommend. 3 stars are kind of, I recommend for a specific person, if that makes sense. So for this one, it felt like a clear setup for book 2, which follows the same couple. Oh, that's not book 2. My bad. Ooh. It felt like a clear set up. Like the only reason it felt like it was written was to set up for book number 2, which felt like part 2 in the Farah and Blake relationship, which it was. It followed Farah and Blake again. And in this book, they meet each other further down the line after their, because they were, I don't know if I said this, they were a semester abroad in Shanghai. So in all of the couples in this interconnected series were part of a connected friend group in Shanghai when they were all there for college. So they met in college in the first book, and then this book is when they're out of college, some years have gone by, and they were no longer together in the first book, which you find out immediately when you read the first book, because the first book in this series actually starts out by telling you what happens at the very end of the first book. So you kind of already know, which that I didn't like because I was confused. I didn't realize that the second book followed the same couple. So I was like, why am I reading a romance where I know they're gonna not be together? But then obviously the second book is about them reconnecting later on in life and kind of the ending to their story. Again, it was kind of mid for me. I'm in between a 3.5 and a 4 for this one. I think mainly it was because I personally did not relate or connect to this specific couple, because I will say that I found the next books in the series to be a lot better. But this one still felt flat for me. I just think I didn't care about the couple. I didn't care about their romance. Their romance felt very boring to me. This was another one where it just kind of felt boring. So it wasn't super good in my opinion. Farah and Blake were my least favorite couple, and I was not a big fan of these first 2 books. Okay, so moving on to book 3, If Love Had a Price. I will say I was shocked that I liked this book because I didn't really care for the other 2. They didn't hold a candle to one, her other series that I loved, and then also I just didn't care about the couple, and I was like, is that gonna be how I feel throughout the whole series? Am I just gonna hate every single couple? But it turns out that no, apparently Farah and Blake were just boring as heck to me, just in general, and I just didn't care about them at all. Starting this book, I instantly was hooked into it because it was funny, the banter was great, and I loved the characters a little bit more. I thought they were a little bit more sassy and spicy, and I don't know, I felt like Farah and Blake were just so boring. And then Chris and Nate come in, and I really loved both of their separate storylines, and then them coming together as well. I really liked their dynamic, and I felt like they were really good together. And I felt like the drama was also really good in this one, and I will say this one almost felt like a telenovela vibes when you get to the end. If you know, you know. Like it just goes crazy at the end because I was really liking it, and then as we were getting to the end and some of the drama just kind of went whoosh, like took way off, I was like, oh my gosh, I was gasping. But in a funny way. Like it was just like reveal after reveal. It was really good. Now, this one to me wasn't perfect. It did not give me that 5-star feeling. It was very close, but it didn't. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars because this is one where if the other 2 books would have made me feel the way that this one did, I think I would have enjoyed the entire series overall more. But I loved them as a couple way more than I loved Farah and Blake. And I will say that this one had a fake dating trope, which I am always a fan of. The Love Hypothesis is the book that got me back into romance reading, so I'm always a goner when it comes to a fake dating trope. Yeah, so this one, so much fun, and honestly, I don't even think you need to read the first 2 books to read this one. Technically, it's a standalone, and I would recommend giving this one a try. And finally, the 4th and final book of the series, If We Were Perfect, was my perfect 5 stars. You guys, this book wrecked me. This book was so good. Throughout this entire book, I'm sorry if I like get all giddy and talk loud. When I really love a book, I can't help but be very animated because it had me in all my feels. I cried, I laughed. When I tell you this book was so funny. The mother of our male main character, Sammy, so this is Olivia and Sammy's story, and Sammy's mother was so funny. So funny. I was literally giggling out loud. Like she was so funny. And just some of the things that happened in it were so funny. And then some of them were so drama, but in the best way of where you were really feeling it. And I just really, for some reason, related to Olivia, and I could really feel her through the book. Like I felt like I knew her. That's what really gets me hooked in a book. So this one, I just felt like the characters for some reason were way more intense, and I really liked them. So this was my favorite couple of the whole series, Olivia and Sammy. And this rivals the Twisted series for me. This book, I felt the same way I felt throughout the Twisted series that I felt reading this one. So I highly, highly recommend this one. And it did have more of an enemies to lovers vibes because Olivia and Sammy, again, were part of the Shanghai college program and that they were all part of the same group. So we do see the other characters from the other 3 books within this one. Olivia and Sammy were also together in school, and then something happens either in school or a little bit after, I think after they got out of school. Something happens, you find out in the book, but they do break up, and then it's about them finding love again together. It is so good. They end up staying in this isn't a giveaway, this is already said in like the beginning and on the back of the book, I think. But Olivia ends up having to stay at Sammy's place for reasons, and let's just say they reconnect and maybe they forgive each other and bygones be bygones. But you'll just have to wait and read it because I highly recommend this one. If you don't read any of the other series, just read this one. I don't think you even need to read the others, honestly. Like, just thinking about, I almost wish I would have just bypassed the first 2 books because they were not worth it, but the last 2 were definitely worth it. Okay, so my final thoughts on this series. First, let's talk about how I connected to the Twisted series, because Twisted series is one of my favorite romance series and just books in general, each one of them. I rated literally the whole Twisted series 5 stars. I loved every single one of those books so much, and they all gave me that 5-star feeling. So I'm a huge fan of the Twisted series, so that's why I thought I would really like these. And if you like the Twisted series, I'm not gonna say you would for sure like this series, because the Twisted series is darker and this one is, I would say, definitely more rom-com-y. There is some drama, but it's not dark. Like, none of it was too dark. Like, it was all very much romance drama, in my opinion. So I don't necessarily think that if you read the Twisted series and loved it, that you would love these ones too. I do think you would love If We Were Perfect, because it does have like an enemies to lovers, and I don't know, I felt like the drama was better in it too, and I just felt like it was more believable too. A lot of the stuff that happened and the characters were just more believable in the fourth book. So overall though, just talking about this series in general, I think if you love a good rom-com, drama-filled love story, I think you'll like these books. If you like fake dating, you will like the 3rd book a lot. If you like a second chance romance, I think you'll like the first 2 books, but you'll have to get through the first one. I honestly can't think of who would like the first one, just because it really is a setup book and I found it to be so boring. So I don't know. But if you like enemies to lovers and miscommunication, I guess too, you would really like the 4th book. But the miscommunication made sense, because I will say, if a book has a miscommunication trope in it, but the miscommunication is so stupid and I'm just like, you really couldn't have just asked. You know, this one felt like I could see this happening in real life, to where they actually wouldn't have been able to piece it together. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, that's how I felt about the series. Again, I feel like the first 2 were 3 stars, honestly. I'm gonna just say Farrah and Blake's relationship, 3 stars, boring. Ugh. And then I will say the 3rd one, 4 stars, and the 5th one, 5 stars. Oh my gosh, 4th. I keep calling the 4th one the 5th one. I can't count apparently. I read, but I don't do math. All right, that's my review of the If Love series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have read these books, please comment your thoughts in the comments. I want to know who your favorite couple is. Is it Farrah and Blake, Olivia and Sammy, or Chris and Nate? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And I'll see you guys in my next bookish video. Love you guys. Bye.